I'm Stephen Hand from Archery Supplies, and today I want to look at a recurve bow. It's a beginner's bow which is new in from Topoint Archery, and I'm really excited about it because of the price point. Now before I start this review, I basically want to show you what most beginners, and when I say beginners, recreational beginners will shoot with. Now this is a fiberglass bow from Bear, and this is what most people start with, and this is the kind of bow I started with when I started shooting. Or something like this, a little Scout. Now these bows just get you started, and they cost, you know, price point wise around the $100, slightly under $100 price point, and that's just for the bow. Now I say these bows, you know, good for about 2 to 3 meters, and yeah, people say, look, I can shoot 20 meters with them. Not accurately. You're not going to shoot accurate with this. So when these new bows came in, I was really excited because they hit a price point which is really good. Now this is how it comes. It comes in a box like this. They come in a whole bunch of different colors, and now this is what the kit looks like inside. Comes with 12 arrows, comes with instructions, and it's written in English and Chinese, so if you're Chinese or English it obviously helps you. French probably not so good, but basically how to string the bow and how to do everything. Now the kit itself is going to sell for around $200, so compare it to your fiberglass bow, which is going to set you back around 80 odd dollars, but then you still need to buy things. You need to buy arrows, you need to buy quivers, you still need to buy stuff. Now this comes with a quiver. Now it's not a bad little quiver, and let's say this quiver's worth $20. It comes with 12 arrows. Now these are a carbon arrow. Now they're not a great arrow. They're not spined well. I mean, they're fine, but they're not great. So let's just say these arrows are worth $5 each. Now there's 12 of them. So right here I'm holding around 80 odd dollars worth of value. Now it also comes with this packet of stuff. Comes with, in the packet, an arm guard. Now not a great arm guard, but it's an arm guard. It's going to stop you from hitting your arm. Now let's say the arm guard's worth $5. It comes with a basic target sight. Let's say this is worth $20. It comes with a basic finger tab. Once again, not a great finger tab. Let's say it's worth $5. And this is the thing, when you're getting started off in archery, if you grab your target recurve, like my target recurve, let's say it's worth $2,000. You know, my arrow's worth $200. My stabilizer's worth $500. My sight's worth $300. It's expensive for someone getting started. This is a beginner kit to get you started. Comes with a bow stringer, $10. Comes with wax, $5. Comes with a set of Allen keys. Let's say these are $10. So all up, in value wise, to me it's not bad value. Now the bow itself, it comes in a whole bunch of colors. We're going to show you this. This is the purple, and it looks a bit pinky, but they call it purple. It's a metal riser. Now these limbs screw in. The grip itself is comfortable, and it actually encourages the proper grip that you're looking for. Now the limbs themselves, this bow comes in, I think I've got all these in 68 inches. It does come in other sizes, but 68 is the common. Now here it's got measurements. It goes, for this limb, 64, 26, 68, 24. Now the reason it's got different measurements is based on the size of the riser. The shorter the riser, the more the poundage increases. So I sold a bow the other day with a 19-inch riser, and actually increased the poundage of the bow by 10 pounds, as opposed to a 25-inch riser. So the limbs itself, so all up, I think the kit's at around $200 odd. Now the limbs themselves, this is a wood limb, single core. Limb tips are actually quite nice. The finish is actually quite nice. I mean, it's not a $1,000 limb, but you know, let's say these limbs are worth somewhere around the $75, $80 mark, which is what a normal bolt-on limb's worth. A metal riser, this sort of bow alone, you're going to be paying, well, a wood riser bow for a beginner's level is going to cost you probably around $160 odd. This whole kit is costing $200. Now this is a metal riser. Is a metal riser better than a wood riser? Absolutely, no question. Because you've got the grip, which is much better than wood riser. The wood riser is fatter, so it's easier to torque the bow, and it gives you that good position. What's also good about the metal riser, it enables cutout, so it enables you to tune the bow correctly. It's got positions there for the sight and also a clicker if you want to move to a clicker. So we'll just set this up. So it comes with the 2 limb bolts. Now would it be better to have interchangeable limbs? Absolutely, but we're talking about a price point here. It's no use saying, well, is the SF Forged riser, which is a $500 bow, better than this? Absolutely it is. This bow, in its price point, is $200 for everything. So for me, when I'm getting beginners starting off in archery and I'm looking at bows, I prefer them to start with something like an SF Forged. But when you're starting off, you're going to go through limbs because you're going to build up your strength and you've got to develop a technique to shoot. Would I prefer you to have arrows which match to the bow? Absolutely. I prefer the spine to be correct. I prefer the draw length to be correct. But what you're going to do is you're going to change your strength and then you're going to need to change your arrows anyway. So this whole kit, for me, at price around $200, is a good way to get started in archery. So that's what it looks like, all set up. Now, even though it's a complete kit, it's not set up. So you're going to have to basically put the limbs on, fit the string. Now, I didn't see in this kit an arrow rest. Oh, and there is an arrow rest, sorry. Sorry, the arrow rest is in with the sight. Now this, it's got with it a little flipper arrow rest. Now the problem with this is actually not a bad little rest. Probably worth about $10. Now the problem is they haven't added a plunger button into this rest. Now if you're going to shoot this arrow rest, you need a plunger button to force the arrow away from the bow. Plunger button's probably going to cost you $15. So this is the little flipper rest. It's a magnetic system. It's a magnetic system. It's quite a good little rest, but there's no plunger button with this setup. So for me, I'm almost tempted to put a $2 arrow rest on this, which has got the built-in plate, like a little plunger built in. You can add this, but I wouldn't fit this without the plunger button, because it's just not going to shoot. You're going to get vein damage. So the string, I'm just going to set this up and we're going to have a shoot, and then I'll show you the different colours of this bow. Now when you're fitting your string, grab both ends. I'm not saying this is going to be correct. Grab both ends and hopefully one loop is hopefully bigger than the other. And to me, this end here looks bigger than this end. So I'm going to hold it down like that. Then I'm going to go down to the serving. And generally you see this is, so they start the serving at the top here, and I think they finished at the bottom here. So basically the top loop should be bigger, and when they finish the serving it should start at the top and finish at the bottom. You can generally see a little tag here, so that tells you your string's up the right way. So I slide the string over the top limb, like so. Now this bow comes in, well, it comes in whatever pounds you want. I think I've got them in 20 to 32 pounds. I may have done 34. I may have done 34 pounds, but most beginners are going to be somewhere between 20 and 24 pounds, and some guys are going to go, oh, I can shoot 26, 28. Absolutely, yes you can. But most beginners and most clubs are going to be shooting 20 pounds to 22 pounds, even down to 16. Now for kids, like little kids, this bow is too big. You need a smaller bow, and I didn't get this bow in a smaller version. I got this in the longer version. And just while I notice, the stabilizer attachment for this is actually good. It's a stainless steel system, so it's actually a good thing, because if you're going straight into the cast, you'd strip it out with the stabilizer. But the paintwork's nice. So I'm just going to use the bowstringer to string this. Now a lot of people will try and string the bow around their leg and damage the bow in doing so. So even though there'll be lots of people in your club who tell you to string the bow around your leg, I would say 95% of my warranties are with recurves are through people stringing them around their legs. So bowstringer, you've got a small and a little one. The little one goes to the top, the big one goes down the bottom. So top one goes on like so. So you've got access to it, and the bottom one, oh, now here's my first problem. You can see the bowstring is too short for the bow. And now what you do, you just loosen this knot off. I'm just going to loosen that. These are a really good bowstringer, I really like them. It's actually the bowstringer I use. So I'm just lengthening this. And now I put a knot in. I did something wrong there. I'll just do that again. So the knot I'm looking for is where I go straight through like that. I did that wrong again, but I think it'll hold. So let's try again. So the big one goes down the bottom, the small one goes to the top, and now I've got the right thing. Now what I do is I stand on the bowstringer. Unfortunately I can't be able to see this. And I just pull it up. So now I always check the recurve, not from the front, because if the string wasn't on I'm going to hit myself in the eye, but from the back. So I look at it from the back to make sure it's on correctly there, and you can see it is. When I take off the bottom one, check that it's on correctly there, and you can see it is. Now when I first string the recurve, I always pull it back, see how it feels. That feels good. Now this is a 24-pound bow. It feels smooth the entire way, so it's not stacking. It feels good. Now these are wood limbs, so unlike your foam limbs you don't get any twists with. It is possible to twist these limbs through heat and through stringing correctly. But overall, it looks pretty good. So I see no issue with this bow whatsoever. You're going to have to add 2 knocking points onto the string, fit an arrow rest, and you're ready to shoot. So I'm just going to fit 2 knocking points, stick an arrow rest on. I'm not going to use the little one it comes with. I'm just going to stick a $2.50 arrow rest on, 2 knocking points, and we're going to have a shot with this. Okay, so I fitted a basic, this is a little white cartel stick-on arrow rest to it. Now generally, if I try and zoom in, there. See this little tip here of this rest? It sticks up. Now it holds the arrow really well in place. But what you find is when this arrow hits this, it tends to break it off just at that point there. So what I normally do is I normally trim off that little edge. So I cut it off at about 45. When I say at 45, I cut it off about there. So I still leave a lip, but not enough to create the massive movement and cause this rest to break. So I find if I cut this just with a pair of scissors, just about at that point there, so I cut a little bit off, I find the rest will last for literally ever. Now what's the advantage of this rest over the other? It's got this little plate on the side here, so it pushes the arrow away from the bow. They cost about $2.50, or buy a plunger. Now fitted knocking points onto the string. Now just that's 90 degrees to there, so you need to buy 2 knocking points. You need a T-square. You need Phillips head screwdrivers to fit this in. It comes with Allen keys to bolt that to the bow. And I'll just... And here's a little bolt to screw that on. Now I'm missing something. Now, sorry, this bolt here, there's a little bolt there which goes on the inside to hold on to the bow. So it's actually quite a simple system. There, that's locked on. Now this side here, you've got a locking screw on the side, so it screws up. Now what you notice is it clicks. See how it doesn't move. It clicks because on the side here it's got a little thing, a little ridge, and on the inside the side here there's little marks. So it doesn't allow you to get the micro adjustment, but on the other side, as far as I'm concerned, the customers, I had a customer complain about, they brought one of these sights off me like this, sell for $15, and they returned and left me a bad review and said the sight comes loose. So when this screw here comes loose and the sight fell off their bow. It's a $15 sight, and yes, it's a valid point, but it's a $15 sight. So this company has obviously fixed that by putting this little thing there in, and there's little ridges across here. So now when this bolt comes loose, the sight won't slip offside. So we're going to shoot this bow now. Now the other problem is with the quiver, because these arrows are obviously so long, the quiver basically slides down. So just bear that in mind. When you've got so many arrows in your quiver, the arrows will fall out. So I'm going to go and shoot this up close, and let's see how I shoot with it up close. Now for shooting at home, I'd suggest 2 bales of hay, close distance. I'm about, from the target, about 3 or 4 meters away from the target. And this is what I recommend for a beginner. 2 bales of hay, bit of cardboard, target face, and just go shoot. Now the knocks click on the string really well. You set up your sights and you kind of think it's right. I think it's going to be in further. Your first shot's always going to be a bit questionable because you don't know how the sights are going to be set for the person. So let's just see how I shoot with this. That was probably just pure luck. It went dead in the center. That went in the center too. Now you'll see these arrows, that arrow bounced out. And the reason is it's got a little rounded tip here. I'm shooting into foam targets. And these targets are designed for 60-pound compounds or 70-pound compounds to pull them up. So with this lightweight arrow, they're just gonna fall out most of the time. Dead in the center. These arrows are shooting out of this bow really, really well. They're shooting really, really well. They're all dead in the center. Now I compare this to a fiberglass bow. Now if I was to shoot at this a fiberglass bow at this distance, I'm not going to keep them on the center. I'm going to be lucky to hit that target, and they're going to be spraying everywhere. So for me, this bow enables me to get started with archery, enables me to develop good technique, get the grip position correctly. You can add stabilizers to it and build up. Loving this bow. So $200, get shooting started in archery. If you can shoot like this at the club, you're going to shoot really, really well. Shot an 8, that's me being slack. And that's part of shooting recurve. If you shoot bad shots, the arrows go out. Maybe the arrow, because I thought that was an alright shot. But overall, this bow shoots really, really well. Gets you started in archery, gets your technique right. And you get 12 arrows to shoot. Now, negative points on these arrows. If the points come off, I don't have replacement points. If when you shoot the nocks off, I don't have replacement nocks. So the arrows are pretty much, when I say throwaway, they're pretty much throwaway arrows. But at the price, $200 for a complete kit, it's cheap. Get you started. For a kid, get you started in archery. You can. I'm being a bit slack now with my shooting, so. It gets you started. Now we'll just go up to the target. Now I'll try and zoom in a little bit. Now that's my group at 3 or 4 meters from the target, which you might say is good or bad, but for me, a beginner shooting at home, it's safe. You can go down to an archery club, get started, you've got your own bow, you've got your own arrows. There's negatives on this, but for a set of arrows like Zillium arrows from Win and Win, they're going to cost you $70 a dozen. They do have replacement points and replacement nocks. They're going to be better than these arrows. They're going to come in spine, but this gets you started. You've got 12 arrows. You're all good to go at an archery club or in your backyard. So now I'm going to show you the different colors this bow comes in. Overall, I think this is awesome value. As far as I'm concerned, this is the best value beginners recurve I have. Now there's another one by Cartel, the Cirrus, which comes with stabilizers and all that. I think it sells for around $300 odd with V-bars. But it doesn't come with 12 arrows, it comes with 3 arrows. But I like the metal riser. The metal riser in this to me is just an awesome kit. The rest is still fine, there's no marks on the rest. The veins are all good. It's an awesome little kit. So let's go and check out the different colors this bow comes in. Okay, so the purple is the one we tried. Then the next color we've got off the rack is red. Now the red looks a bit pinky. I'd call it a pink, but they call it red. So that's the red. And boys can rock a pink. You see Brady Ellison shoots pink risers. So I've got a guy here shoots a pink riser. It comes in black, which is your standard black, which is probably going to be really popular because boys get scared of pink. It comes in a white. It comes in a yellow. The yellow looks awesome. The green. Green's more of like a lime green. It's actually a pretty green. and it comes in a blue. So it's actually quite a dark blue, quite a pretty blue. So that's the colours. The Topoint, they call it the R2 Recurve, comes in. I think it's great value, great present for someone, getting people into archery nice and cheap. Now when you go to change this bow to a higher poundage, I'd suggest selling it and then buying another bow. The reason for that is, yes, you can get replacement limbs, but replacement limbs are going to cost you around $100 for a set of limbs. You're going to sell this bow for around, so let's say $200, you're going to sell this whole bow for, let's say, $100. So it's going to cost you $100 every time to upgrade. Much better than buying replacement limbs, which are going to cost you $100. And then you've got 2 sets of limbs and you'll never go back to the lighter limbs. So I'd always suggest selling it off, easy bow sale at $100 to beginners in the club, and just buy yourself another one and go up to the next poundage. Now, how often do you change limbs? Depends how much you shoot, depends on yourself, depends on whether you're doing weights and if you're getting yourself physically fit. Now for myself, shooting recurve, I shot recurve for a number of years. I was always shooting about 32, 34 pounds, but I wasn't shooting that often. I've been shooting recurve now pretty much every day. Been training quite hard with it. I started on 32 pounds, I'm now up to 45 pounds, and I've gone through 3 sets of limbs in about 6 months. So I'm up to 45 now. 45 is becoming fairly comfortable for me. So I'm almost ready to jump now to the next level, but I'm not doing that until I beat my last score. So the limbs, how often you're going to change bows depending on how strong you get, but as soon as the bow becomes light, you should be looking to upgrade to build up the poundage. Most international archers are shooting around 45 pounds to 50 pounds, and you do want to increase your poundage to be able to shoot the longer distances and be competitive with the top archers. So for me, it's about, you start with light and have a plan to work up to higher poundages, but don't work up until you're able to handle the light poundages well. So, and just probably jump up 4 pounds at a time. So I'm Stephen Ham from Archery Supplies. Enjoy your archery and check out the Topoint TR3 Recurve at your local archery shop. Thank you. Bye.